like I say, it was somewhere around France, I believe, or something like that. I had a small shop, and basically, like I said, we were carbonizing. I was trying to carbonate or put bubbles in water, basically. I thought it'd be kind of cool to have little bubbles, to pressurize the bottles. I forget why it might have been an antibacterial thing or something like that. Infusing oxygen or something into basically into a fluid, pretty much. And so we were trying to do it and stuff like that. And I think the first containers might have been aluminum or something like that, and basically pressure containers. But then, I wanted them to be able to see the bubbles, and stuff like that. And anyway, though, and so like going from putting oxygen into water, or basically champagne into carbonated water and stuff like that. But basically, after a couple of tests and everything else like that, a couple of little experiments, I thought, we decided to release it to the public, where it'd be in a container, and then you pop it off and then you pour it into a glass and it bubbles. And I thought it'd look cool and be neat. It's just like a novelty. And I thought, well, it'll probably just be a novelty. No one will really like it. I mean, who cares, right? It's just bubbles and water, or bubbles and grapes and grape wine or whatever, grape juice or whatever, basically grape alcohol stuff. And so I didn't really think it would catch on. So anyway, so they released it. They did an experiment, and basically, like, the town got drunk or something like that, or the town drank it, and like people were reselling their glasses of wine. They like took it out into the public or something like that, and were like reselling it or something like that, and like it was hailed as this amazing thing or something like that. It turned into this big thing in France, basically, where pretty much I had this little test done, basically, where people could come up and try the new carbonated, basically wine. Anyway, we had red and white, but people liked the white best, I believe. Anyway, though, and public was also playing a part in it and all that other stuff, but they loved it. Like I said, they ordered it like a year or 2 years or 5 years in advance. Like they were selling like people were. I was like, it's just a fad. It'll pass. But we built the factory and stuff like that from the proceeds, and basically, yeah, it was in France or someplace like that, somewhere around Poland or France or somewhere where I first released it, and yeah, so anyway, that was me, Lucifer Star, and I was thinking, well, my ships would be cool anyway, so I had enough for my ships, or for people, or for a couple towns or something like that, and I thought I was just going to lose all my money, because I thought I was like, no one's going to like it. It's going to be a waste of money. No one's going to care. But I was like, well, it'll be cool for me anyway. So I was going it alone. I was prepared to go it alone. And, and so, I had a small operation. I think it was like a small warehouse, and I had two shops or something like that, or two buildings, basically doing this crazy idea of carbonizing basically wine. And like I said, it was huge. It was more than huge. So people loved it. So anyway, and now it's sold throughout the world. Who knew, right? So yeah, about that. Love me now. I told you I was an epic inventor. So yeah. Yep. True story. And I mean, most people, I'd be like, I was Lucifer. Epic. I felt more like it's just sparkling wine. I'm Lucifer. I mean, here I'm talking about like nationwide. It's like muddy. I was the first. One of my crackpot ideas. So yeah, that was my company, and It was in France or Poland or somewhere around there. We had this little test, and oh well. Anyway, like I said, it's very interesting how basically, there was a time where Nixon and JFK and other people were like, war, and I'm just like, what? Because it's like aircraft, steamships, steam trains, sparkling wine, MREs, fishing nets. So I'm so it's just like I'm like, as basically I have all these inventions. I'm like, and JFK and Nixon and other people are like, down on me. I'm like, don't see that every day. Wait a minute, how much you want? Like I said, I think it was sometime around France or something like that, where basically there was this fighting or something like that, and I just simply said, you know what? Here, money. Stop fighting. Get over it. And everyone was like, okay. There were a couple times when I literally just was like, I'm tired of this. This is disruptive to my companies and it's being a problem to me and the people around here. Here's money. Stop it. And basically they're like, oh, okay. Don't mind if we do. So, I settled a lot of problems that way, actually. Where basically I was like, well, how much do you want to end this conflict? And they were like, oh, well, yeah. So I forget, it was somewhere around in France or somewhere else like that where there was like this war or something like that, and I was like, and one time I was like, here, go kill your leader. I'm done with this. I don't need this. I don't want war. It's disruptive to the children. Stop fighting. I think I might have even done one time where he actually catapulted like coins or gold across over the trenches or something like that. Whereas like, here, I might have done that one time, where basically I'm just like, throw gold at them. So they might have actually thrown gold at the soldiers and basically been like, and later on I was like, man, here's your gold, because I know you gave away the other gold. So, so both sides were equally compensated, because it's like, look, there's more money than I could ever spend myself. So, and I need this problem to just go away. So anyway, so there was at least one or two times like that where literally I just bought my way out of it. And I mean, hey, I owned the champagne factories. So, I could lose a year's worth of income. Like I said, at some point in time, I was actually paying people. I was like, here's a year's wages. I want you to pursue this idea for an entire year. And just, like technically some people were paid 3 years in advance. Like, here's your wages for the next 3 years. Make something wonderful. I could do that. And that was just off of the profit off of my inventions. That wasn't even inflation. That was just the amount of money that I was making for having invented all these things. So anyway. So yeah. So those were my personal inventions, like the invention of like basically wanting to put carbonated or basically oxygen or carbonation into wine, basically, just from like the champagne sales. And then there's other things too. So anyway, that's how I was like, basically as people, they loved everything, and then like when we had the cocaine and the refined opium and the refined methamphetamine and the refined ecstasy, like, one time I had, they raised the prices because supply and demand. Everybody loved it so much and wanted more and more and more. And so you know, and drugs were me. So, you know, that was another one of my ideas, just like champagne. So, anyway, yeah. So I had more money than, or more finances and more devotion than I really knew what to do with. You know, many people said I could just choose any woman I wanted. Technically, I probably could have. So, anyway, yeah, it's like that. So, anyway, just as Lucifer White Star. So, epic adventure. But, you know, I never, you know, well, a lot of people were like, I am your lord, and I am your leader. I was just like, yes, I'm just a little businessman. I always saw myself as as it's like a little German person, like, yes, well, you see, I have a whole lot of money. Anyway, whatever. So anyway, yeah, well, you know, so shrug.